Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Are you there?
Hello? Hello?
Oh, hey, welcome back, everybody. It's almost like map 2 is about to start, Vince. I think you're ready. I'm ready. And I know the boys in the server, just check them, are all ready to rock and roll. So this party moves to Inferno. And that excites me, Vince. Cloud9's map pick now sitting on a win, but only by the skin of their teeth.
Yeah, I mean, you've pretty much painted a full picture of the madness of the last map, honestly. It looked like Cloud9 were going to walk away with it, then back come TeamOne. And this is a map that they've got very familiar with today. This is the map they went OT on earlier, 25-22, was Inferno. So maybe some flashbacks to that, see if they can start things off well. But on the CT side, of course, this being C9's choice. And Cloud9 now pushing their way up second middle. It's going to be Malp that opens it up, and it's all the way of TeamOne. A shutout case. We saw a T-round pistol for Cloud9 on Nuke get completely swatted away. And it feels like it's more of the same, barring a miracle from Floppy, who does have control of the bomb, but now he's been spotted, runs straight into Apps, and is dealt with by Maluk convincingly. 1-0 start to the CTs.
This is a very Furia-esque CT-sided pistol, I have to say. Malbs peeking down alt, had a teammate down the depths of mid, and then Maluk lending that helping hand from the Balk room. So PRT just stomps on the guy down in the tunnel, and it's a clear cookie-cutter pistol round win. So nicely done. The Brazilians take it to start off their CT side, but Cloud9 forced by right back. Grenades exchanged at the top of Banana, smokes plumed, and frags popped. Not too much damage, really. Modem's going to be okay with this, sitting on 85. That front runner with the Tech 9. And these guys better get ready. Pesa and Malbs have 5 Ts about to stampede at them.
Oh yeah, the stampedes of T's making the ground shake, but Malbs has the remedy for the situation. The MP9 spraying down 2 on a third as well, and he survives. You think he probably gets 1 or 2 kills maximum, but somehow still has his life, goes in for more, assist, and OC with 2 frags can't get any more surely from this situation as he runs out of ammunition and health. But it is a post-plant for Cloud9, at least have something to play with, but they did also invest all of their money into this round. So TeamOne bypassing the force, getting the defuse, and moving forward from that previous loss in the best possible way.
Absolutely so. But now it's going to hurt, Vince. It's going to sting, and it's probably going to fizzle out real quick, especially with a couple of MP9s still in the equation here. Don't think TeamOne are going to shy out. Oh, hold on. Oh, all right. They're dropped and jived and jumbled back around. It's Barton and Pesa with the SMGs, looking to milk the cash cow if they can. It'll be a matter of what Cloud9 offer over. Cloud9, actually, nice little calculated curb purchase. I had looked away to watch the MP9s and rifles find their final spot, and it seems like we've got some utility here for the T side. Good dink as well to start. Pesa, he's not going to have much cover other than a teammate to lend a helping hand. Deals blind damage back the other way. And maybe they're getting a false sense of confidence. Malbs, he is content to sit behind the sandbag, almost getting 4 frags, but Floppy double deagle with utility to follow suit. He's desperate for the bomb plant. Maluk could try to run through this. His frag goes for the default plant, but Floppy called that out. Had he not gone for that alternative plant position, then maybe he'd be dead by now. Instead, he'll have a chance to follow up with more deagle damage. Decides to hide behind the scrawny pillar. There's another excellent deagle, but nothing after the fact. How much can we ask of one man, Vince? He did some, and then.
Mate, he went above and beyond. If you look at the fact that he got a couple kills out of that round, 3 kills plus a plant, but he also focused out the grenades that the remaining 2 players, PRT and Maluk, had. They threw out Molotovs, they threw out smokes, they threw out flashbangs. So that's going to be adding in a couple of $1,000 on top of the replenished weapons he's forced out from that deagle as well. And keep into account that Cloud9 only had a half buy, and you see the effects. 2 MP9s against Cloud9's full AKs and an AWP. Floppy did huge amounts of work in that round, even though they lost.
Up with eyes on. Maluk's looking for it. And he's going to get an answer that he doesn't really want. JT onto the kill feed with a second frag as well. Maul's trying to take the place of his fallen comrade. Now it's just a couple of corpses. But here's PRT with a nice little peek through that mid smoke. Catching one off guard. It's not the only A player, as Floppy's still back in apps. But Pesta, he's going to have his hands full. 3 Ts on the other side of Coughing. He cuts off the first one, doubles down onto the head of Modem, and even OC cleared. 3 frags for Pesta. That is huge, Vince.
Absolutely ridiculous. Ridiculous fragging. TeamOne, again, look like they're about to get slumped over. Look like they're about to concede. And then one player just lighting it up. And you did mention this on Nuke. Even though they lost, they can stand proud. They can at least go blow for blow with Cloud9. Floppy had no right to get that kill. I was about to mention that Bartin was rummaging around the back, that he was flanking into position. And now Floppy 1v3 could cut it down to a 1v2. Wasn't far off landing the pixel headshot. But as it stands, PRT picks up a 4th kill alongside Pace's 3. And that will be TeamOne taking a 4-0 lead.
The second kill onto Modem, you know, the staggered steps of those 3 Ts, just offering him 1v1s, to be honest. And, you know, the third player didn't even want the gunfight. He tried to eject back down Banana, and it wasn't his choice to make. So a 4-0 start for TeamOne. This bodes very well for them. Force buy coming out of Cloud9 leaves them a little strapped for utility. And 1 Galil in the mix of it all. No op to counter that of Maluk. Again, because of the lackluster utility, you can't really gamble it away with the early B hit. But it doesn't look like B is in their interest. Maluk going to be pressured in a moment. Fully blinded, has to fall back. Nice flash. Then he goes in for second servings. JT is shut down. Barton, he finds Sonic. Floppy's got some sort of an answer, but the offer reigns supreme until Modem takes to the top rope and just drops the elbow onto the throats of the 2 CTs on site. Malbs and Pesta versus 2. Massive health advantage.
Yeah, savage play from MOTM, loving that he uses that verticality of the box to help him out. Now Pacer goes aggressively through the flashbang, through the smoke, and MOTM is left slumped. OC trying the 1v2, and not for the first time in this map. It comes down to the 1v1 clutch, and TeamOne's hand is raised once more. 5-0, but Cloud9, they've got to be so frustrated, Scrawny, because they've had 2 or 3 golden opportunities.
Absolutely so. Modem, good work to get that bomb down, but it was OC in the pit. He had a chance to cut down Pesa. It was he who got across into the site, loses his teammate, and then picks up what was needed. So excellently done there. Another very close one. Cloud9 has got to be a little frustrating, but at the same time, they know they've been in this map round after round now. A buy just as healthy as the last. Damage done down Banana thanks to the 2 frags of TeamOne. A wallbang that'll come up empty-handed, but it does allow Floppy to get ever closer to this A site.
It does feel like TeamOne are playing a game of Jenga with their economy. Just one false move and it all comes crumbling down. And Cloud9 will know it. They're trying to shake the table. They're trying to cheat as much as possible in this game of cat and mouse. And they're pretty much feeling their way out of the map. They really don't have much utility left at their disposal. They had 2 smokes. One's just been tossed towards the bracket side of Library, leaving only Floppy smoke remaining. And Bartin, I thought he was going to get 2 kills, but Maluk helps him out. From the grave, Bartin can have a smile on his face because his team take the player advantage one more time. And that final smoke has now been deployed out on A. But they still feel like this could be a B-centered hit. They're keeping Kessa. They're keeping Mobs over on this side. And PRT is going to lock down the bomb. JT's kill streak comes to an abrupt end. It's just the 1 frag. And now MOTM has got to try and clutch this out with 25 seconds on the clock. And he's being flanked. There's very little that you could say is going in favor of Cloud9 at this stage. And even if he can move into pit, he's going to waste so much time in doing so that the chances of clutching this are minimal at best. Maybe he can take Pacer, but Mob stops that dead in its tracks. And this unbeaten streak continues.
So far, so good. PRT that entire time after getting bomb dropped on balcony was just waiting for the graveyard peak. So even as Modem got ever closer, you know, that very slim chance he would have still been hanging on to, the moment he peeks over that edge, if he thinks he has an advantage, it's predicted to perfection. TeamOne clearly giving us something to talk about here on their CT side so far. There have been close rounds, but this one shouldn't be one of those, Vince. It is just the pistols back up for Cloud9. Bare bones utility. At least they've got the Kevlar in the off chance they catch a gun and can get their paws on it. Smoke to meet the 3Ts in apps. And Barton, dangerous decision. They're going to try and barrel past. 1, 2, 3. Easy. Bomb dropped on top of it, and he's got himself the 4K in the anti-eco. That one looks clean.
Yeah, it looks a bit awkward for Cloud9, doesn't it? No one checking that tight angle, maybe anticipating a flashbang on their approach, and they wanted to be focusing their attention elsewhere. But, of course, it was always a bit of a roll of the dice when you just have pistols up against a fully stacked TeamOne. The great news, though, is that's the first time in this entire match where TeamOne have survived with more than 3 players alive, barring the pistol. So that's going to be great for their economy, which was still a little bit suspect. Now they're going to be playing aggressively, though. It seems like Cloud9 have had enough. They've had enough of this toing and froing. They want to grab this game by the balls. They want to try and impose their will on this B site. And so far, it's been working out for them. Pacer, while flashbang, dispatching of MOTM, but the T's are still spilling out onto the pool, which is overflowing now with bloodshed. They're going to look for that plant, and Pacer still has to bide his time, wait for the troops to arrive.
Martin wary of somebody taking to the high road, but not the case for now. Man advantage in a post plant. We've seen post plants from Cloud9, but I don't think too many man advantages to go with it. And it's a delicious dish when you have that perfect melange. 4 versus 2, all too easy, Vince. They're going to hold this one down, and now we have it. 8 rounds deep into the game. Cloud9 get their footing on the B site with an advantage, long enough to lock it down. 7 rounds to 1. But we saw back and forth affairs all across Nuke to both of these teams' favors. Why not now again? Cloud9, 4 survivors, op included. This is their chance to now start something.
100% agree with you. I think it's one of those games, you know, sometimes we sat here and we're casting and it's a 7-1 scoreline, and the scoreline absolutely suggests that it's been a bloodbath, and it has been. This is one of those games where I really feel like Cloud9 were probably good for another couple rounds. I could easily see this being like a 5-3, maybe a 6-2 kind of score. And I don't think 7-1's necessarily fully representative of how this game has gone. And that's reflected in the economy. Cloud9 win 1 round. TeamOne are eyeing up an eco if they lose. But Malouk straight away peeks down middle, taking out Floppy.
Great start here for TeamOne. It's going to be a real feels good. Talked about, you know, TeamOne being on the cusp of a reset. Cloud9 not far off it. Continuation of buys, inevitable, of course. That T-side economy, less punished. Modem, for the meantime, just sits and wait. Ooh, a smoke grenade. He has to make a decision. He could decide to try and play around that. Opts not to. Majority of TeamOne still sitting pretty on this A site. 2 players committed to the pit. There have been difficulties for Cloud9 in unearthing players from these sorts of positions. Barton has done a great job of buying time, being patient, and hitting the heads when he needs to. There are mollies, though. Molotovs could screw over these pit players. 35 seconds, and Barton, he's got a little bit of an angle. That smoke's going to prevent him from being mollied. So I take back what I said. The utility's not going to be enough. They need frags, and it's Barton to pick up the first one. Here on this A site, they hold strong. PRT with a kill of his own. Gets his second. Sonic with just the 1. That is all they get. 1 round, Vince. 1 kill, Vince. There's not much here for Cloud9.
No, there's not much here for Sonic either, and he was one of their instrumental players on Nuke. He was one of the players that was going huge. He was having these double spray downs in really integral, important rounds, albeit mainly on the CT side. But he was also super instrumental on their T side, their entry fragging. So him having a bit of an off game here and not really turning up just yet is having a big impact on Cloud9, and that's going to have to change. And take nothing away from TeamOne. They're doing a great job of neutralizing him, of effectively countering any of his prowess and potential. But this time, Cloud9, where did their one round come from? It was a fast B hit, and that's what they're going back to again. All their players stacked in here. They got plenty of utility for a set piece. TeamOne haven't tried to take banana control. No early fights with incendiaries or HEs. And now Cloud9 gonna press forward. They're gonna have the flank from MOTM with the Mac 10 in hand. Needs to try and capitalize as Mobs and Pacer have both picked up frag. He needs to go down quickly for Cloud9, and indeed he shall, but a lot of damage has been put down in the process. All 3 players are weak.
What? Maluk tries to push through smoke off of that flashbang. They had man advantage. They're going to keep up this pressure. Incredible! Barton, the headshot transfer connects. OC up next with 50 health left over. They're going to go ahead and extinguish the molly, and now the job gets all the harder. He has to find the lineup, hits the legs of PRT, but Barton sticks the bomb. And despite OC's best effort, TeamOne keeps this rolling.
I thought Maluk had thrown that round when he pushed the smoke. I really did.
You and me both, bro.
The only thing I could assume is that TeamOne thought, surely they won't anticipate us to do it twice, right? 2v3, they're not going to think we'll push it again. And so I think it was Floppy was stuck on the bomb, and he basically just got fragged. There was a second player in the dark spot, and then OC was stuck on banana. So just that ruthless aggression. But those are the kind of plays that you can justify and facilitate when you're leading 8-1 at the time with a potential of a 9-1 lead. It's like, why the hell not go for a Hail Mary? Why the hell not go for a really aggressive play? We're feeling good. We're feeling confident. We have plenty of around the buffer. Like, we can go for this.
Yep.
And so Cloud9, man, they just can't get settled. They're just being pushed so hard.
You are spot on, Vince. That's what you are afforded when you have a commandeering lead. So and see how much more wild antics are in store for us. Maluk with early eyes down mid. Now, we talked about the heads-up fight between him and OC on Nuke. And as much as I would agree with both Potter and Maui Snake that TeamOne seemed like they were in control for the majority of that map despite losing it, I would say the op duel was handedly in the favor of OC. Not the case here on Inferno. Maluk's turning it around. A consistency in this A setup, a thorn in the side of short. Cloud9 foregoing mid for the moment. It's just Floppy trying to make a bit of a ruckus, trying to cause concern, keep those 3 CTs on A as they look to sink teeth into B. OC gets the headshot. 4v4 ensues, and we have PRT moving his shoes through that CT spawn, trying to come over. Pesa gotta be cautious as they could hit on a moment's notice, but Vince, the T's walk away.
It's a great call. And now Maluk, last man, can hear that grenade being tossed across, and he decides to back away. He's now stuck in the open, but still connects the shot, and plenty of damage behind it. There's a second as well. He is coming alive on Inferno, and he has Barton in close proximity to help him out. OC with 2 of his own. Surely he's not going to clutch this. OC has picked up 3 already, and he's going to be able to get the bomb down as well. Pace is making moves round the side of short, and it's going to come down to this wide swing. OC has the right idea. He's landed the first shot. Pacer gets obliterated. Flashbang over. OC switching to the Glock, and with the spray down with the Glock, takes the head off and clutches such an important round. That could be the comeback.
Astronomical. OC, I just tried to give Maluk the edge, and he whips this out of the back pocket. It takes 2 hands to pull it out. That third frag onto the player in Graveyard, phenomenal. The shot onto the last man that doesn't give him the kill, Vince, I'm thinking this is the tragedy. This is the poetic end to what would have been a phenomenal ace. He has 11 kills in this map, 5 of which off that last round. OC just took momentum. It's only a second round for Cloud9. You ask yourself, how have they gotten onto the board? Yes, that one fast B push, you could argue a one-off. Now the second, an ace. It took an ace from OC in a 1v4. That you can't replicate easily. Cloud9 have not found the solution to this CT side, but they have found a second round on the board. And at this point, you take what you can get. Vince, look at the result. We're talking pistols on TeamOne, a single M4 for the top fragger of the CT side. Maluk, not with the big green, relegated to the Colt instead, but still, he could hold this. They go for the numbers game with that B site stack. 3 CTs in position, and Malb's the front runner. Cloud9, this is their chance.
They nearly whiffed it as well. That was a team flash that bounced off just the cusp of the wall. Wasn't punished. But as you pointed out, TeamOne gone all in. They've imploded so many rounds, Cloud9, that they should have won. Maybe. OC's play has resurrected that resolve. PRT peeks out from the balcony and gets punished, and now that should give Cloud9 the fast track to another round. I wouldn't be too surprised if TeamOne peace out of here and save, because they don't have much to play with in the next round, and at least this gives them a couple Deagles and an M4 with Kevlar. So you may as well hold on to it.
Cloud9, this is your reward. You know, this is a reward and a half. It's got all the trimmings, Vince, all the ribbons, bells, whistles, whatever the kids are up to nowadays. Cloud9, a gift has been presented. They had to fight pretty damn hard for OC to get that second. This is their third. And I mean, hell, even within this round, there's a moment where PRT kills Sonic, and Sonic would still be sitting on that one measly frag. He had 3 Deagle shots just zing by the side of his head before he turned to deal with the man in Balk. They're going to stack up inside of the pit. Take a little bit of damage. Pesa maybe still hopeful that he finds one, but this is a third round for Cloud9 and a very likely fourth. It's not pretty, Vince, but it's enough of a T side that we still have to believe that they could claw this back. There is no reason that Cloud9 couldn't still finish this half with 6. And when you consider how lopsided it once was, my God, Maluk on the M4 again. As seen in the last round, and like you mentioned, those 2 other survivors have the Deagles. Nothing else invested for the 2 that died. TeamOne should lose this round just like they did the last.
The operative word, of course, being should, because TeamOne, they'll have a couple of things to say about that. A couple of curveballs maybe to toss the way of Cloud9. Good smoke deployed onto coffins and a flashbang and a force pacer away. Deagle, not necessarily the kind of weapon that you can feasibly spray through the smoke with. And it is drawing out some CTs. In rounds like this, when you have a lack of firepower and utility, and no kits for a retake, you have to gamble stack. I completely understand why TeamOne have done this. And again, if things don't work out and the A site gets hit, you can try and save this M4 and keep it ticking forward again. Molotovs being tossed out onto quad. They're going to be just making sure that all these angles are being dealt with accordingly for Cloud9. And even though the bomb is dropped down middle, they can easily retrieve that. The thing that worries me a little bit from Cloud9's perspective is they have 2 players very aggressively at the top of Banana. And that suggests to me, Scrawny, they may try and pivot off that later on in the round.
I think it really boils down to how much these A players are willing to risk. If that bomb was still floating bottom mid, I'd be a little bit more scared. But luckily, they're going to feel out B with Modem and then head into that A site when they realize this one's stacked. He gets the first kill as he takes his time here. Modem's still going inwards. Going to look to clamp down on it all. And now that's the confirmation they need. 15 seconds left. And it's not even as though there's one player in the darkest of corners here at A. A 4th round for Cloud9, guaranteed.
I know this is going to sound like a strange statement, but I actually consider this round a success for TeamOne. They just got a second assault rifle, and it's an AK. And they came into this with basically nothing apart from what they'd saved. So it's almost a round where you're not expecting to get anything, but you come out of this with 2 assault rifles, including an AK, and now you can get a really solid buy and try and move towards an 11-4 half. Because, of course, Cloud9 are going to get a 4th round off this. So I actually consider this a success for TeamOne, all things considered.
Question will be, what's the rest of the buy look like I really enjoyed Maluk turning around the op game here on Inferno. A stark contrast to what we were given on Nuke. That M4 can be thrown over, and nobody's rich enough for an op. So the big green will only be seen on OC.
Yeah, that may feel a little bit painful, but they can be reassured by the fact they have a ton of grenades, which is so important on the CT side of Inferno. It allows you to go for banana control, try and do some damage down, but it's an interesting take, isn't it? Because we casted the two Brazilian teams of Furia and earlier today. Banana control, every side on T's was so aggressive, always taking banana control. But Cloud9 sat back, waiting, anticipating those grenades, letting them fly out, letting them cover, letting them sparse, and then they push up afterwards. And TeamOne, they don't have that second push. They're not really going in for any flashbang peaks. They're not going aggressively through middle or second mid or even apps. And this is giving up so much real estate to Cloud9, who are starting to take control of the map.
Already got past brackets. Normally, we've got Maluk in position here outside Boiler with that op. Instead, he is tasked with the solo arch hold. Molly burns, Cubby's clear. Flash will find his eyes. 45 seconds left. Another round where Cloud9 just fall into silence. Leaves TeamOne to kind of wiggle and squirm. Last time, we had Modem try and entry that B site, bomb nowhere near him, and it looks similar. But Vince, instead of a 5-man stack with just pistols, this A play will find resistance. And it's not just going to be the one-off. There are 3 defenders in position. Maluk starts to activate, then he fades back. They have 10 seconds to spare, not even. They need insta-frags. Bomb's going to get dropped. 2 backs turn. Modem's all that's left, and time is of the essence. A completely clear bomb site, but no time to plant.
They had so much control of that map, Scrawny. I want to say around 1 minute 10, they had top middle control, top banana control. We're kind of discussing this amongst ourselves. And then they sat there and did basically nothing.
Yep.
And I've got to give a lot of credit to TeamOne. They didn't get desperate. They didn't throw out their nades too early. They waited. They anticipated it could be a slow push, a slow play, and they make the most of it with well-timed smokes on especially B. But I can't help but feel that Cloud9, they let that round slip away again. That's a bit of a rude mistake. I think they're going to go back and watch that round and be disappointed how it ended up.
Modem, though, he's got a chance. He just slides into that second frag. Now the pressure's all on Mobs. Deep Molotov to force the T's back ever so slightly. And they have to make a decision. Do they take a chance and move that second piece off of the A site, or is Mobs going to do it on his own? Floppy, he could fall to Barton, who gets aggressive, catching him off. T's, they're going to have that mid control, but where do they go from this? Barton, he's dropped back into the pit. He's going to go for the peak, and it's not the opper posted. He finds the headshot versus Sonic. Barton, the one-man army, 12 and 6 on this A site, looking for more, but those sprays go amiss, and JT claws this back. It's even keel with a bomb plant in the depths of this A site. OC inside of pit. We want to talk about Maluk. OC's also given highlights, and he's going to miss that first shot. Now they're both trying to peek. They're both trying to pinch him into this position. He decides to play off of the side of the smoke, and these CTs are stacked on top of each other. He misses his chance at the kill. It's all on JT, trades it, hides behind box, and PRT gives chase. That's an 11th round for TeamOne.
And that is a beautiful half of Counter-Strike. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you for the second half after this short break.
How hard can you go? 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 How hard can you go when the beat drop? When the beat drop. How hard can you go? 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 How hard can you? How hard can you? How hard can you? How hard can you go? 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 How hard can you go?
TeamOne have played countless rounds of Counter-Strike in the last 24 hours, but these ones have been some of the most convincing. 11 rounds on the CT side of their opponent's map pick. They're beating themselves up for letting Nuke slip through their fingertips, but the series not quite over. The Brazilians and Guatemalan look to take this one over the line, and for their sake, Vince, I hope they can do it as fast as possible, because if you give Cloud9 a chance back into this map, they will absolutely take it.
Oh, they will. And it all starts here in the pistol. If Cloud9 can get the pistol and get a good economy built up early on, they are absolutely still in this match. Concede this, they're going to be struggling. 3-player stack on the quad side. 2 remaining players. JT, one of them, over on B, but now the floodgates have opened. And OC comes out with 2 USP frags before he goes down. PRT is going to be his assailant, and that's going to be a post plant. They do have a kit in the hands of JT and a flashbang on top of it, and joined alongside Sonic, who did have a bit of a rough go of it in that first half, only 3 kills to his name. He'll be hoping that he can pick up each and every one of these remaining Ts, but he goes down without much of a fight. JT, last man standing, has already chipped in for 1, knows one player's graveyard and the other one's beneath it. Can he put that USP to use? No. Bartin takes him off the equation, and TeamOne take the second pistol.
12 rounds to 4 and a bye that will favor them. The force in seems to be the only option for Cloud9, I want to say. What's up with Cloud9 losing their map picks, Vince? I need answers. MP9 and a scout? Excuse me, I say that like it's over. There's still a chance. A wild, thin chance, of course, but a chance nonetheless. It just seems like TeamOne, they're not going to go down without a fight. They bested them in the BO1 yesterday on Nuke. Cloud9 barely got revenge. And to think, this could have just straight up been the 2-0 from TeamOne. But they're going to have to fight tooth and nail to get all the way over the line here. Barton hopeful that he finds one with a little bit of smoke spam, but that's ambitious. CTs sit pretty in sight. The majority still over towards the B bomb site, but minute on the clock. Plenty of time here. Floppy, he's going to get close, and it seems like Cloud9 are getting adventurous. Floppy, he tries to swing wide, and Sonic, good job on the trade frag, but Malbs gets one better. Did they anticipate the third? It's JT on the Deeg, and oh, the headshot connects. A 13th round for TeamOne, and what feels like an inevitable step closer to that third map, Vince.
Yeah, one giant leap if you are on TeamOne. Dealing with this force spy, dealing with these players very easily. And there's a couple of good ideas from Cloud9. I like the wide swing into banana after the scout tag. You can see what they were looking for. There's a few players lined up. They could trip over each other, and it could potentially be a spray down, but didn't quite work out for them. And now the T's in prime position. Bartin, just double checking the A site is clear and barren of any foes, and now he finds out, courtesy of Mob's frag, that is indeed the case. 13-4, Cloud9. I don't think they force fight. I feel like they probably hold off with a 14-4 deficit and then try and put all of their life savings into a potential comeback.
Closer and closer we get. Dust 2 on the cards, of course. That's exciting. If we get there. Cloud9, not going to go down without a fight, but Vince, you're absolutely right. They hold off, and they're just looking to get this one done. Catching the T's by surprise with that sheer aggression, and a second kill comes through by way of just measly pistol. Pesa patient on the side of this smoke. He looks back to his teammate as Sonic does take that corner. And you know what? Pesa, he's going to get the team kill in the mix of it all. This is a 2 versus 2. He's being called into action at the B site because his plant could come for free. They drop a smoke behind them, but that offers a second rifle to the counter-terrorists that remain. I mean, it's a hell of a comeback that Cloud9 need, but this would be a hell of a kickstart to that exact issue. Molotov's gonna buy time. They don't have the health. What in God's name? The jumping MAC-10 slap across Modem's face. Sit down. And Sonic has an answer, but it's a little too little, a little too late. Bomb halfway gone. He just wants to keep the AK Vince. It's a 14th round for Team1. A convincing fashion here on Inferno.
Yeah, the overall picture it paints fairly grimly, doesn't it? But I will say, if we look at the context, or without context of just that round, it's actually a great round for Cloud9. They get 4 kills with basically USPs. They save an AK-47. But of course, then you look over to the overarching storyline of how Inferno's gone. It looks a little bit bleaker. But every comeback has to start with small steps. And maybe this is the moment where we see something special. Sonic only has an incendiary, but everybody else full to the brim with utility. They have an op for OC. Let's see how Cloud9 can pull this off. You have to assume, with it being their choice of map, that their CT side should, in theory, be rock solid. It's just whether they've already mentally checked out or not.
Little apps presence, a good banana flash gets them scurrying into the corner here. That A site looks prime for the taking. Numbers advantage for Team1 substantial. Not to mention, there's nobody holding balcony, so these 3 Ts will not be stopped. Modem's going to have his hands full. He actually tries to eject away from it, and Barton decides to give chase here. Floppy with 1 frag, and that's it. It's Maluk. Talk about a turnaround from map 1 to map 2. Not just the opping, but now rifle work as well. OC. Smoked off from the bomb site. Further utility comes soaring for him. JT and Sonic trying to work their way around short with these Molotovs, whether it's at the base of Banana last round or here on top of them now. That bomb is planted in the open, but the 2 Ts inside of Pit look to lock it down. Pesa, his position unknown, pops up, drops JT. Now that bomb's been smoked off and they're desperate for the defuse. It's all on OC. He's taking damage. It's so close, but Pesa says no, and Team1 take 15.
And with 15, surely that will become the map. There is going to be another tactical timeout. I can appreciate that Cloud9 haven't fully given this one up yet. They're still going to dig their heels in and try and battle their way back brick by brick, blow by blow. But Team1 have looked sublime. And when you think that the next map is Dust 2 here, Scrawny, what a time for your AWPer to peak. Performance-wise, like he has an off game for Nuke, fair enough, whatever, but he's starting to hit his stride with Dust 2 just around the corner. That's huge.
Damn, I did not expect this. I mean, maybe another overtime perhaps is what I thought, Vince. Like if Cloud9 weren't going to win Inferno, then it was supposed to have been close, but just where did they go? Individuals disappeared throughout this second map. A curse that Cloud9 seemed to be struggling to deal with, whether before or after the player break. Their map picks not seeming to be their friends. Dust 2 up next. They even give away 1 more round. JT, he feels the heat behind him, has to force his way forward. And he's pinned back now by bullets too. Malbs, substantial damage both ways. Check out the health bars of the remaining players, all of which seem to still be standing for TeamOne. 4 players tagged that heavily. 4 players with less than half HP. And yet a man advantage ×2. Barton, like a landmine, gets denied by the headshot of JT. That's an excellent chance for them to still have something to do here in the 20th. But Malbs, he cuts down Floppy on that fast rotation. A 4v2 to close.
And this feels like it's going to close much like a guillotine, separating Cloud9 from Inferno and taking us to that all-important deciding Dust 2. Malb's grenade could have a kill behind it. Not quite, but chunks JT. And both the remaining Cloud9 players living by a thread. But that thread has been cut short, as will this map. 16-4. What a beautiful performance from TeamOne. I'm kind of in awe here, Spawny, because I honestly felt like this series was done. But I'm so glad to be proven wrong.
Absolutely. I'll take it. I mean, it's just our second best of 3 of the day. Vince, I got some gas in the tank, and I'm sure you do too. So everybody who has joined us for this lopsided Inferno, it may not have been what anybody expected, but that leaves a beautiful surprise on Dust 2. What comes next in this opening match of Group B? Only time will tell. We'll have our analysts after the break, and we'll see you guys soon.